What's going on YouTube? Hey, it's Ben Nader. You guys already know that you're on the channel where we talk about recruiting, staffing, business, investment, pretty much everything in between, and I vlog on those topics daily. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you definitely should be hitting the subscribe button right down below and become a subscriber. Hit the alert button as well so you know every time a video comes out. So today I want to talk about something that extrapolates upon a lot of the topics I've been talking about previously, which are client acquisition and lead generation and stuff like that. And this video is going to be how and where to find your candidates. So I know we've touched on some of this stuff before, but refreshers are always good, and I'm going to get really specific because I have a really tight rubric for how I do this, and I put these things in categories, and I want to let you guys know exactly how I do it, and I'm successful with what I do, so I think it can be easily replicable, so check this out. So there are three main categories that I would put candidates in. The first one being general labor. I speak about general labor a lot because it's a huge portion of my business. Production, drivers, warehouse people, logistics, manufacturing, anything of that sort is general labor, including administration and stuff like that. That's one category of candidates, right? The second category is basically middle to upper level caliber management type positions, or positions that are in charge of people, that actually manage people or manage processes or manage projects or things like that. They have some sway in their workplace and they're paid a bit more and all of that. And so these are going to be like leads. You know, if you look at a diagram of the entire org chart, these are going to be like management and leads and stuff like that. The third and top category that I put candidates in is the upper echelon. And yes, I'm just making this up. The upper echelon, right? So what does that include? The upper echelon includes anybody from a director to a senior level position to even a C-suite position. These would be like, high level roles. Like, we're talking about professional people here. So CPAs, accounting, finance. We're talking about directors of, operations, right? People that make big decisions. They have large salaries and they have a very professional approach to what they're doing, and they're well sought after. And so that's the third category, which is the upper echelon. Now, how do you find candidates when you're entering into this world of, I'm starting a recruiting agency and I got some clients, but I don't know how to find their candidates that they need? Well, let me tell you. So break those down into those three categories. Figure out what type of candidate you're looking for first things first. Once you've identified what type of candidate you want, whether they're a general labor type of candidate that's going to work at a warehouse or a delivery driver or something like that, or whether they're going to be middle level management or something of that nature, or if they're going to be like a senior director somewhere, or even a C-suite individual if you happen to land a client that wants, a C-suite individual. So figure out the candidate type first, the caliber, I like to say, and then from there you're going to go into where you find them and exactly how you approach them. So if you're looking at general labor, this is very, very simple because these are the things that I do constantly, and this is how I grew my business based on general labor. And I use Indeed, Indeed.com resume finder. I use Craigslist ads. I used Indeed ads themselves, paid ads, and that's pretty much it. So Craigslist ads, Indeed ads, and Indeed Resume Finder. Indeed Resume Finder is $250 a month. I believe it's 300 contacts that it gives you, like lets you find 300 resumes, and it will serve you very, very well. I made over $100,000 using just pretty much Indeed and Craigslist alone for general labor roles. So trust me on that one, that will work for you. So in your general labor roles, finding candidates, 100%. Stick with Craigslist, stick with Indeed. ZipRecruiter sucks if anyone hasn't told you yet. So I would lean on Craigslist and lean on Indeed for that. So let's bump up here. Let's go to your mid to upper level management, or mid to upper level caliber positions, and candidates that you need to find for those types of roles. So Craigslist is off the table for these. Craigslist is done. We're done with Craigslist at this point. If you're looking for candidates that are in the mid to upper level, we're done with Craigslist. We still have Indeed though. Indeed still has these positions, right? So people are still putting their resumes on Indeed if they're mid to upper level management, logistics, supply chain, managing groups of 5 or 10 people, and warehouse leads, or, branch managers and things like that. Like, you can still find those resumes on Indeed Resume Finder. You can still still find them by putting ads, paid ads on Indeed, but not Craigslist. You're going to want to start lurking into LinkedIn for these middle to upper level positions, right? For those candidates, you're definitely going to want to start touching on LinkedIn. And that means doing searches for these positions, basically just, going in and searching for companies that those types of candidates work at, or just looking for, typing in like manager of warehouse or whatever, and finding all the candidates that are in your geographic area. And those are going to be a good way to find your middle to upper level caliber candidates. And that's kind of the midsection, right? Now we're going to pop up to the upper echelon, like the big dogs, like the C-suite, the senior level people, the upper level director, operations manager, like high level, high paid, well sought after positions. These candidates, you're pretty much going to be on LinkedIn all day for these, okay? So forget Indeed, forget Craigslist for sure, forget those paid ads, forget all that kind of stuff. You're really going to want to do some solution searching, which is basically finding the candidate without an ad on LinkedIn. And so the way you go about doing that is, I just discussed it before, but searching by company, right? So if you have, let's say somebody at a car rental, company like Hertz, and they want a director of operations, and you're thinking, well, let me just go over to search employees that are director of operations at Enterprise, and find a ton of candidates that match that, or a few candidates that match that, and you're going to do it on LinkedIn. So you're basically just going to be doing searches on LinkedIn. You could do Boolean searches, which a little bit advanced for somebody that's first jumped into recruiting, but we can do a video on Boolean searches, which is basically keywords, where you do specialized, terminology and the way you do the syntax and all that. But we'll get into that later. But LinkedIn is going to be key for the upper echelon candidates. That's where you're going to find them. You will not find an operations manager or director or senior level XYZ whatever on Craigslist. Not going to happen. You will rarely ever find someone like that on Indeed. They're past that, where they're well beyond all that stuff. Like, these guys are making more than the maximum salary that's set on Indeed as the filter. So it doesn't make any sense. So you're going to want to be on LinkedIn for this, for sure. And so you're searching for those upper echelon candidates on LinkedIn. Honestly, this is really where solution searching comes in. So where you go in and you actually search for direct competitors of the company that you're placing for, and you find those people, those candidates, and you approach them with a really good offer, a really good taste of what this position might be like, get their interest, grab their resume, send it over to the client, and then boom, 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 you're making connections left and right. And so that's really where the solution selling starts coming in, right? Because you're going to need to pick people and pluck them and actually do something, like provide value, instead of just posting up a Craigslist ad for delivery drivers and getting 10 of them and boom, just giving a $20,000 payday. That's all cool and all, but at the end of the day, when you're starting to look for these upper echelon people, you're also going to be putting in a fee of upwards of 20, plus percent. And I know 10% is what we do on general labor, what I do, and things like that, and what I've recommended for people that are just starting out, doing like warehouse or logistics or whatever. But when you do these upper echelon positions and you're finding candidates for them, you're going to be looking at a higher percentage fee. So it's worth it for you, to search and actually talk to them and convince them and say, hey, here's this position I've got, XYZ, blah, 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 send it over to the client, and then, make all ends well. So that's how you kind of categorize everybody from general labor to mid-tier to the upper echelon. Once you've categorized them, then that's how you go about finding them, right? So the general labor is going to be like Indeed ads, Craigslist ads, surfing on Indeed, Resume Finder and stuff like that. And then the mid-tier is going to be still some Indeed, definitely looking through that Resume Finder, they're still there. Craigslist is off the table, they're not there. And then inching into LinkedIn, because they are going to be on LinkedIn most likely. And then the upper echelon is definitely going to be all over LinkedIn, and you're going to be definitely be doing solution searching for that. We're going to be plucking people from other companies or people that are seeking opportunities and stuff like that, so you can get really good candidates that way. So that's how I go about finding my candidates, how and where to find them, basically. I wanted to end on one note. I wanted to talk about social media staffing and social media recruiting in general, and especially for candidates. So for clients, great. surfing on Facebook and looking at all the businesses that are in your area, all the companies that are in your area, and trying to, find out whether or not they could be an awesome client, and messaging them on Facebook or finding their details and then messaging them elsewhere, like through a direct email and stuff like that. That's beautiful. However, finding candidates on social media, contrary to popular belief, and I hope this is a hidden gem and an eye-opening for some of you, this is not an effective way to find candidates. Job groups, things like that, not an effective way to find candidates. Social media, Facebook, etc., it is not an effective way to find your candidates. And I'll tell you why. It's psychological. People are on certain social media platforms for certain reasons. And when they go on them intentionally, and they go on them with purpose, because they either want to be found or they want to be talked to, by the right person, or they want to network and interact with the right people. Facebook, although there are job groups, and although I even have a 4,000 person job group in Seattle, I mainly use it to talk to potential clients that are looking for people rather than job seekers where I can kind of find someone here and there. It doesn't work out. Trust me, I've had the group that I've had that's 4,000 people large, probably about 90% of it being candidates like job seekers. And it's a very, very inefficient way to find candidates. So social media, Facebook, whatever it is, on Facebook particularly, I would say finding candidates is a really, really inefficient way to go about it. So I would say steer away from that. Don't try it. When someone goes on LinkedIn, their mindset is, I'm on LinkedIn, I am looking for a job, here are my credentials, recruiters, come at me, right? Like if someone posts their resume on Indeed.com, they're like, recruiters, come at me. Like I posted my resume, I've updated it, here it is, like I posted it intentionally, contact me, I'm open to looking for positions, right? On Facebook, really we just go on there for entertainment, we're in there for 10-second bursts of dopamine, and we're literally just looking at memes and whatever it is, and we stumble through job groups. A lot of people post in job groups like, I'm looking for a position that's like, this XYZ, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, I've talked to countless individuals like this on my Facebook job group, and they never work out. They just don't work out, because my thinking and my analysis is that they're really just on the job group as a mindset thing for them to make them think that they're trying to find a job. But ultimately, they really don't really intend on getting that job. So they're not going to be your ultimate candidate lead. So I would steer away from, social candidate finding, especially on Facebook. People are just on different platforms for different reasons, and you need to go to the platforms where the people are on the platforms for the right reasons to find the right candidates, and you will find success. So categorize them like that. I'll put that all in the description. Also link in the description to Six Figure Recruiters, which is the Facebook page attached to this channel. So definitely join that, because I answer pretty much anybody's question in there, or there's a bunch of really, really smart people in recruiting that'll answer your question there. So link in description for that as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe right now. We provide a ton of value on this channel, and we answer pretty much anyone's questions. So if you have like a unique idea for a video or something you want someone to dive deep on, I will do that for you. So inbox me, and we can connect on that and stuff. So smash the like button if you haven't already, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys on Tuesday for sure. Take care.